Let's be honest. If you think that showing a woman a lot of love and attention will win her heart, you might be wrong. What if I told you that by ignoring her, you could get inside her head, make her question her own feelings, and even change the power dynamic in your favor? That may sound harsh, but that's the cold, hard truth of attraction psychology. The art of ignoring a woman isn't about the disrespect effect. It's about changing your mindset. Men have been taught that investing more will yield more. But what if that approach is driving her away? Ignoring a woman connects with her need for approval, attention, and the mysterious allure of what she can't have. In our nature, we want what's out of reach, create distance to make her chase you. Now, before you judge, let's be clear. This isn't about manipulating her in a harmful way. Instead, it's about understanding the deeper psychological dynamics at play. Women are emotional beings with complex desires, and sometimes, the farther away you are, the more interested they become. When you master the art of pulling away, you stop coming across as needy, and all of a sudden, she's the one wanting your attention. This controversial approach comes from the study of evolution, which found that men who seemed more independent were often seen as stronger and more attractive partners. In today's world, the same idea still holds true: confidence. Attraction is based on self-control and scarcity. If you're always there and available, you become predictable. Nothing kills attraction faster than predictability. In this video, we'll go over the art and dark psychology of ignoring a woman and break down the strategies that will help you keep her attention without being too involved. Overprove number 1. Always being there for her means she won't value your attention if she doesn't have to work for it. Now, imagine you're giving her space instead. You're not always the first to text, you don't cancel plans for her, and you have your own life. Suddenly, she starts to wonder why he isn't chasing her like every other guy. This lack of constant attention draws her in. When something is too simple to get, it loses its value. The same rule applies in relationships. For example, let's say you're always the one to initiate contact. You're texting her all day, trying to keep the conversation going. She might engage at first, but soon it feels like a chore to her. You're no longer the guy who intrigues her. You're the guy who's too easy to read. On the flip side, if you're a bit more distant, answering when you're genuinely free and keeping the conversation light, you're suddenly unpredictable, and unpredictability is exciting over investigation, comes off as needy. Imagine you're constantly buying her gifts, showering her with compliments, or dropping everything to be there for her. It might seem like you're being caring, but what you're really doing is lowering your own value. You're implying that she doesn't need to invest in you because you're doing all the work. Men who comprehend this understand that stepping back, creating space, and being selective with their time keeps a woman engaged. The key to drawing is value. And if you're always looking at things too much, ignoring makes people curious. Number 2. Ignoring a woman often works better than giving her lots of attention. This is because when you don't give her the approval she's looking for, you spark her interest. She begins to question why you are not behaving in a manner that is consistent with the behavior of the other men, which causes you to be noticed. For example, let's say you meet a girl at a party and hit it off. While most guys would immediately follow up with endless texts or try to set up a second date, you take a different approach. Instead of constantly checking in, you keep your distance. You might text her, but you don't bombard her. What happens next? She starts to think about you and wonders why you're not pursuing her as aggressively as other guys. This mental gap is what pulls her in when you ignore her, or at least don't immediately. She has time to think about you and figure out where she stands. People are naturally curious, so if she knows you're always available, she won't be as interested in you. However, She'll be more interested if she doesn't know when you'll text next or how invested you are. For example, if she sends you a message and you don't reply right away, she'll check her phone and maybe even reread her message to see why you haven't replied yet. This isn't meant to be mean, you're just giving her time to grow her curiosity. Women like guys who have lives and aren't always on their phones or seeking approval. When you don't say everything, you keep things mysterious, and she starts to wonder why you're not acting like everyone else. When you ignore her, you're not being rude. You're keeping her interested on a deeper psychological level. The less you give her, the more she wants. 3. Maintaining an air of mystery. If a woman knows exactly what you're going to say or do next, she loses interest. That's why being a little harder to read is so powerful when it comes to attraction. When you're too open, you give away everything. Like when you text her back right away, sharing all of your thoughts and feelings and making them known. Clear as glass. Honesty has its place, but if you reveal too much too soon, the excitement of the pursuit fades. Women love the excitement that comes from not knowing exactly how you feel or where the relationship is heading. The more you let her guess, the more invested she becomes in trying to figure you out. You can probably relate to the feeling of losing interest when someone is over-available or too eager to please. It's human nature. We want what we can't fully have. And when a woman senses that you're not completely accessible, it makes her work harder for your attention when she's working for it. She's thinking about you more, and the more she thinks about you, the more she becomes emotionally invested by keeping parts of yourself back. You create a sense of intrigue. Maybe you don't always share your plans, or you're not always available when she wants to hang out. Maybe you're selective about what you reveal about your life. Whatever it is, when she has to fill in the blanks, she becomes more attached. The effort she puts into figuring you out makes her more invested in the relationship. Now, this doesn't mean you should play mind games or be emotionally distant for the sake of it. It's about balance. You want to be genuine, but you also want to avoid revealing too much too quickly. Not always explaining yourself and being unpredictable in a way that's true to who you are things that women want emotionally, and mystery gives them just that. Being unpredictable keeps her intrigued, as she's never quite sure what you're thinking or what move you'll make next. You pull away, but don't be rude. Step 4 is to move away. But remember to maintain eye contact. A lot of men think that pulling away from a woman means ghosting her, not talking to her at all, or acting like she doesn't matter. Let's be honest, that's not strategy, that's just being stupid. The art of pulling away isn't about acting like a jerk. You should give her space to see how valuable you are without disrespecting her. Too many guys think that ignoring her means going cold or showing her no respect. That won't make her want you more. It will make her think you're not worth her time. Also, if your way of flirting is to be rude or dismissive, you've already lost her. Women aren't attracted to cruelty, they're attracted to confidence and emotional strength. This is the point at which many men make mistakes. People think that if they ignore her texts or act uninterested, they'll get the upper hand. But there's a thin line between being mysterious and being disrespectful. Women want to feel valued, not like they're part of some manipulative game. If you treat her like she's disposable, you're ruining any real connection. It is only a matter of time before she realizes how immature you are. Women can discern whether you are withdrawing solely to manipulate her emotions or to entice her to pursue you. Wake up. You're kidding yourself if you think being rude will make you look better. When you pull away the right way, you show her that you're not needy or desperate and that you respect her. You're giving her the space to miss you without punishing her with silence. You're stepping back to focus on your own goals and life, not to play games. She will recognize the difference when she sees that you're a man who respects himself enough to not always be available, yet still knows how to treat her with dignity. Her interest will grow naturally. So stop thinking you have to be disrespectful to pull away. You don't have to put her down to raise yourself. The way you make her want you is by showing that you're confident, knowing when to step back, and still being classy and polite. Making her chase you is the fifth and final rule of attraction. If you're always trying to impress a woman, you're missing the point of attraction. You won't win her over by always making the effort. Instead, you need to let her do some of the chasing. The problem is that many men don't realize how harmful their constant pursuit can be. If you're always the one reaching out, planning dates and trying to impress her, you're putting yourself in the position of the pursuer, and she's in charge. When you're too easy to get, you're telling her she doesn't have to do anything, which is not attractive. Women want to feel like they're earning your attention, so if you give it to her without making her work for it, she won't appreciate it. Despite what many men believe, being hard to get is about setting boundaries and generating genuine interest. To let her chase you shows that you value yourself and have priorities other than her. The fact that you're not desperate for her attention sets you apart. Don't chase after her like she's the last bus of the day. Instead, focus on your own goals and interests. When you're fully focused on your own world, she'll easily become more interested in you. Wanting to learn more. You should have enough going on in your life without having to wait for her to answer or change your plans to fit hers. Fit is important. You don't want to be completely unavailable or uninterested, but you also don't want to be too eager either. Make her work for your time and attention, and show her that while you're interested, you have a full life outside of the relationship. After seeing that you're not just waiting for her, she'll value your attention and work harder for it. So stop chasing her around and let her come to you instead. You'll be surprised at how much more invested she becomes. Men have been fed a lie for years. You don't have to constantly chase women to win them over. In fact, the less you invest, the more they'll want your attention. It's time to change the script. Let women chase you. It's not manipulation, it's just normal human psychology. Let me know if this helped in the comments below, and I'll get in touch. Let's bust these myths and build something real together. Thanks for watching, and remember to keep a stoic view of life.